William Hill sponsors IFL TV.
I'm the man to beat, Daniel Dubois.
You're going to sleep. What do you want me to say?
KUGAN, CASSIUS, IFL TV, MTK Global.
Yeah.
I'm joined here by Tony Bellew.
I'm at the MTK Global show.
Which one?
July 12th.
Stat card.
I'm there, yes.
Rocky Fielding,
Jazza
Martin
Dickens,
Murray,
Martin
Jazza
Murray,
Dickens,
Craig Glover.
Terry Flanagan,
Craig Glover.
Craig Glover.
Craig Glover.
Craig Glover.
Jazza Dickens.
That's live on IFL TV, by the way,
It
as
is,
well.
and I'll be pushing it out there. I will be pushing it through my social media channels.
You want to tell people, post our link, because obviously people in the UK, people here watch on ESPN, but people at home.
Let's just quick, what you want to know, dead quick, because I don't know much anymore.
I want to know how you are.
I'm alright, mate, I'm happy. I'm very happy, life's nice, life's good, so I'm just happy.
Have you been out for Carl's wedding?
No.
Where's the town from? Don't say Liverpool.
On holiday, been to Monaco, bit of time with the kids away, just different places, mate. And it helps having a little bit of colour in you naturally, so.
Absolutely. Well, you look well. You look well.
Thank you very much.
You look very well.
You're the first person to say that, so thanks.
No upsets here tomorrow night?
I don't see it. Listen, it's heavyweight division. Anything can happen when a big punch is landed, but I give him, and this is a fight in 90-10 in percentage-wise, so in Joshua's favour.
But you know Ruiz can fight.
Of course he can fight. Mexican. Show me a Mexican that can't fight. He's tough, which he's shown. He's durable, which he's shown. Fast hands for the big guy. I just think it's going to be to his detriment having them fast hands, because when he opens up he's going to get nailed straight down the pipe, and he'll never have been hit like he's going to get hit on Saturday night, never in his life. No one ever has sparred, never has fight. It's the speed and the velocity, the sheer velocity of the punches that's going to shock him. I predicted between rounds 4 and 8, but don't be surprised if this is over in the first. It's just, AJ just carries an awful lot of explosive power. I know he's in phenomenal shape. Obviously friends in his camp speak to him now and again. The kid's just an immense athlete, so I'm looking forward to seeing him, mate. I can't wait.
He made some interesting comments this day, Tony, to Carl Frampton actually. I don't know if you saw that.
Who did?
Joshua. He said that after this fight he really wants to sit down with Tyson Fury and find out exactly what needs to be done to get this fight on. Like,
he said that to Carl Frampton?
He said it to Carl Frampton on... Carl Frampton does a podcast on Joe. So he spoke to him for like literally a few minutes, but managed to get that out of him. He says, "Oh, that's my plan."
Listen,
after the fight.
He's very easygoing and he wants to make the fight. I guarantee he wants to make the fight, but he has people around him and a team which he's supposed to have, KUGAN, which he needs to have. This is what boxing is. You have to have a team. You can't just be all down to you. So while yes, he wants to make the fight and he'll probably go that extra mile to make the fight, there's people in his ear who are going to say, well, you know, you shouldn't be giving this away because you're the man with 3 belts out of 4. You're the man who brings all the big draw to the table. You're the man who everyone wants to see. Yes, okay, Tyson Fury's just had a phenomenal, should have been a win against Wilder in my opinion, but you know, he's just had a phenomenal performance last time out. He signed a new big deal with Top Rank, I believe it is. But it's still just break it down actually what someone brings to the table. And the only thing you're really getting if you beat Fury is I took his all and the bragging rights, if I'm being totally honest. All this Laniel status, it's crazy where it's come from these last few years because we never heard Laniel talking years ago. Well, I didn't, and I'd like to believe I know a bit about boxing, and I just never heard the word Laniel until Tyson Fury vacated all the belts, or they had them taken off him, or whatever it is that happened. So you know, no one ever spoke about this Laniel. Everyone just knows who the number 1 is, and that's just how it is. So.
But does he not have a fair, like a point that a lot of people do regard Tyson as the man to beat because he was the original man to beat Klitschko?
Of course he's the man to beat, you know, but that doesn't make him the best. I think he's the man to beat because, yes, he beat Klitschko first. He's just beat Deontay Wilder in my opinion. But you can be the man to beat, but does not make you the best heavyweight in the world. Because the best heavyweight in the world is the man with all the belts, is the man who brings usually all the money. Is the man who's the biggest draw in boxing. You know, potential, well, probably more Canelo, but I don't know, mate. I just want to see the fights get made. I'm very sceptical on on if they will at the minute, because I think there's so much money being thrown at these guys to not face each other. And I'm just not. I just think they'd be happy. I know AJ's not happy because this guy's making mega money no matter what. He can make even more than mega money if he faces one of them too. These guys are making great money, that money they've never had before without him. So it's like they're kind of thinking, we're both making great money without him, so let's just carry on.
Why go there?
Yeah, why go there? Because they know.
Yeah.
Like I said before, if you're so confident, just fight him, because you're going to be worth twice as the amount that you've ever been worth in your life.
Who wins today in that fight if it was to happen today?
Between
Joshua and Fury.
I think Joshua is nailed on. I've always said the same. I've always had the opinion. I think the only way to beat Tyson Fury is to get up close to him, be very, very powerful, and not care what's coming back. I think that's the only way to beat Fury. You can't get into a boxing match with Tyson Fury. He's going to outbox you. He could make you look stupid. So, in my opinion, the only man who's technically good enough to get in front of you and not care what's coming back is Anthony Joshua. Yes, Deontay Wilder could have got in front of him and swung for the light, as we've seen, but technically he's not good enough to put the punches together to set Fury up. You know, just a simple thing of a double jab, pushing him back, blind him with it, and then nail him with the right hand down the middle. We've seen him do it once or twice in the fight. Joshua will be doing that continuously, and he's not just doing that with poor technique, and he's not doing that with big ALO swings. He's doing that with precision and power and pure speed.
You think he knocks Fury out?
I think he stops him, yeah. I think he stops him. Don't get me wrong, if it goes past 4 rounds, I think it's over Fury then, because he's just going to frustrate the life out here. I think he stops him within 4 rounds. And people will say, well, Klitschko tried it. You know, Klitschko got the life frustrated at him and bought into the hype, and really did got mentally destroyed, and that's fair play to Tyson Fury. You've got to give him credit for that. Went out to Germany, beat the monster in his backyard. Some fellas jump on your interview here.
No, he's alright, he's back to him.
Okay,
he's back to him, he's alright.
Right, you said 5 minutes.
It's 3 minutes so far.
It's not, it's a liar.
2 more questions. What have you made of the whole Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury situation? Because Eddie Hearn kind of...
I haven't paid any attention to it, so just get me up to date.
So,
I've heard that
Maurizio Suleiman said he was going to order Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury. Fury then comes out and says, the only way I'll fight Dillian Whyte is if it's for the WBC Diamond Belt.
Okay.
So Hearn, Whyte, they put in for it to be for the Diamond Belt, which they understand was going to come back positively. And then Fury comes out the other day and says he's got no interest in fighting Dillian Whyte. While they're going through the motions.
Tyson's a Jekyll and Hyde person. I like Tyson Fury. I've got a lot of love for him. I've known him a long time. And I think the world of him, I really do. But he's Jekyll and Hyde, mate. One day he'll say, I'm going to fight you, rip your head off. The next day, he'll probably kiss and hug you and say, I'm your mate, I don't want to fight you. So you just don't know what you're going to get. And I've got a little bit of that in me myself. We all have as fighters, we've got to screw loose cougs. So, I don't know, is the answer to it.
Where does it leave Dillian Whyte at the moment?
Dillian Whyte deserves so much credit and recognition because he faces anyone and everyone. One of the most improved fighters in the whole of Britain. Since his loss to AJ, he bounced back, he took it on board, he changed his training team up, the way he done things. He's been brilliant, mate. You can't knock the boy. You've got to have a lot of admiration for him. I mean, listen, me and him have had words over the years, but put that aside, you've got to actually just respect what he's doing. He's facing anyone. He's beating them. He's facing good fighters. Cougs, you know, he went in with Joseph Parker, the former world champion, and Joseph Parker had everything to prove. You know, he was in Last Chance Saloon when he faced Dillian Whyte, and Dillian Whyte came through it and got the win. So it's I'd love to see him get his shot, I really would, but I fully understand. AJ's fought him once. It's got to all be stacked in your favour when you've got 3 belts and you're giving someone a voluntary. When you become
do you blame Whyte for not taking the fight in April?
No, because I understand.
Oh, you don't?
No,
okay.
Because I did at first, and then I heard about the rematch clause. So if the fight was just getting took and then he's able to dictate the rematch, then he's got to take it no matter what. But then when the rematch clause is dictated to you, you know, you've kind of got to go, it's not in my best interest. To beat him twice is very hard. That maybe I think I can beat him once and then I dictate the rematch clause, so I get an awful lot more in the rematch. But, you know, it's a big ask. So it is what it is. But you've got to respect him. He believes in himself. And you know what, good on the lad, mate. I only wish them all well.
One more. Obviously, Wilder announced his proposed fight with Ortiz will happen later on this year. What does that tell you that Wilder is rematching Ortiz this year from their side? What does that tell you?
I think Ortiz is a little bit older. he wants to make a bold statement against a man who he's had a really hard fight with in the past.
Do you blame him for taking that fight at this stage? When the Joshua fight was kind of...
Of course, without doubt, but once again it comes down to the fact of, do you really want it to happen? Well, no, he really wants it to happen, but do you really think you can beat him? And that's what it all boils down to. I'm sure in a fight like that, what will make that fight happen is the sanctioning bodies just all need to go, listen, we need to make these fights happen, put it to purse bids. I always remember it many years ago happening with Alexander Povetkin got himself to a really good position with Vladimir Klitschko, and they put it to a purse bid, and I think the purse bid was something like 28 million.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Fight never happened, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it did happen.
What fight are you talking about?
Povetkin and Klitschko.
Oh, do you know what I thought you were talking about?
Go on.
For a moment, I thought you were talking about Wilder and Povetkin.
Oh, well that happened. Well, that went to the purse bid.
First, but it didn't happen. That's what I mean. Yeah,
because, as I say,
sorry, that's what I thought you meant. Sorry.
Test that once again. I don't know how many's failed now, but it is what it is, mate. It's, you know, that is the best way to make this happen. Put the cards on the table. Let's go to a purse bid, and you'll probably, in my opinion, see the biggest purse bid in boxing history. I would
force the situation.
Of course, that's if the sanctioning bodies really want to do it.
Yeah.
But do they really want to do it? Because they make an awful lot of AJ.
Of course.
So, you know, do they want to weigh it up? So we'll see, mate. But you know, there's no rematch clauses in the when it gets as an immediate, when the sanction are mandatory, or unification. So it makes it very dangerous and very interesting, mate. Listen, I became a mandatory challenger in my career twice, so I know what it's like. Very, very hard when you're a mandatory challenger. It's a different ball game when you go into unification matches. I've done one of them once, got my ass kicked, but you know, life goes on.
Oh, the Adonis?
Well, no, I was talking about Usyk, to be honest.
Oh, right.
I don't class Adonis as kicking my ass because I was a walking corpse. But he still beat me up as well. Yeah,
he's around here today, Usyk, actually.
Yeah, I can imagine.
He's around.
As long as he's not picking on me anymore, I'm happy.
Disappointed with the Miller situation, undoubtedly. What kind of materialised from that?
I don't even want to really speak about him. And you know what? I did actually like Gerald. I had a lot of time for him. I'm just sick of cheating coups in boxing. At that level, EPO, testosterone, HGH, human growth hormone, it's just, oh mate. It's
never going to stop though, is it?
No, it's not going to stop, mate. Do you know why it's not going to stop? Because the sanctioning bodies. It's not going to stop.
Does it even stop if something absolutely...
Yeah, someone dies, it stops. Trust me, someone dies in the ring, it'll stop.
But why are we waiting for that?
Because the clowns...
But are we waiting for it?
Yeah, they are, of course they are. Why are they waiting for it? I don't know, you tell me. It's a disgrace. So, can I go now, please?
Yeah, that was 4 minutes and 40
You're a liar. It's 10 minutes at least.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I appreciate your time.
Keep watching MTK Global.
And yeah, you'll be in Liverpool.
And IFL. I'll be in Liverpool. I love the channel.
12th of July.
I don't get to watch as much anymore, but I promise I'll start tuning back in. I'm not really on social media as much as I used to be. Since I got hacked, the world's just gone crazy. So, what can you do, mate? It is what it is.
You get hacked?
Yeah, sad, innit? What can you do? This is life. Listen, but life goes on.
Tony Bellew, thank you very much for your time.
And thank you very much, IFL.
God bless you.
William Hill sponsors IFL TV.
I'm the man to beat Daniel Dubois.
You're going to sleep.